Hey guys, it's George and Yuyu. I am from South Whittier. I train here at Maywood Boxing Club. I started boxing when I was 9 years old and now a professional boxer.
Awesome, thank you. So, tell me a little bit how you started boxing.
Yeah, so I started boxing when I was 9 years old. I went to go visit family in Mexico. And at the time, my uncle was a professional boxer. So he took me to the boxing gym. And growing up, I played every sport. You know, I played soccer, baseball, I did karate, and just every sport. But he took me to the boxing gym, and then from there, I was like, okay, I really enjoy this, you know. And as soon as I came back from visiting in Mexico, I went to the Sheriff Academy, and that's where I met my coach, Jeff. And from there, that's when we started. We started boxing. Yeah.
Awesome. And how old were you when you first started?
So I was 9 years old when I first went into boxing, and then well, I was still 9 when I came back, and then I joined the Sheriff Academy over here in Whittier, and that's the journey right there.
Did you start competing at 9 or?
I started competing. No, actually, I think my first official fight, I was 11, but I did have like exhibition matches leading up to my first like official amateur fight. So we had a bunch of exhibition matches through the Sheriff Academy and stuff like that.
Wow, that's cool. And so, in what other ways did boxing affect your life, even at 9 years old?
Well, I mean, it was a complete like different sport, and I think it's kind of hard to say because I was young, and you know, I started young and I'm growing with the sport, but definitely a lot of discipline, and it taught me that you have to work hard if you want anything in life, you just have to work hard for it. And it's gonna, you know, there's gonna be tough times, but you just have to deal with it. Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned from boxing is it's very, you need a lot of discipline for it.
Yeah, it's more of a lifestyle, right? Compared to other sports that have seasons.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. There's not really an off season, you know. It's all year round. I mean, you're not fighting it, you know, every week, every month. I mean, the amateurs you could fight almost every week, every other week. But with like professional boxing, it's not every week. But yeah, it's all year round. You're training. Yeah.
Would you say that going pro is a little bit harder than being amateur, or is it about the same?
I don't know, actually. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's harder. It's different. You know, I think it's a lot different. You know, there's a lot more business involved in the professional professional boxing. The gloves are smaller. There's no headgear. But I don't think it's that much of a difference as far as transitioning from like the lifestyle isn't too much. It's not that much different. The training does change though, you know, and especially in professional boxing, you start 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8, 10, 12. With amateurs, just 3 rounds. So as far as the training, that's probably the biggest difference, but the lifestyle doesn't change that much. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you decide to go pro?
We actually took a break when I turned, I think I was 18. We took a break, and when I took that break, I ended up joining like MMA and doing jiu-jitsu, and it was fun and I really enjoyed it, but I was missing boxing, you know. There was just something that was missing, and I remember my coach ended up calling me, and he called me one day and was like, hey, you know what, I think it's time to get back to work. And I was thinking the same thing, you know. I had that itch to go back, but I guess I was kind of waiting for my coach to give me a call too. So I took a break, and then we're just like, hey, you know, let's turn pro. We thought about, you know, getting a little bit more amateur fights, just to, you know, break that 2-year layoff. But then we just decided, hey, you know what, let's just turn pro. So I turned pro in 2017. Yeah.
All right. And how did that feel?
It kind of happened I feel like it happened pretty fast, but it was different for sure. You know, the build up, the lead up to the fight. I enjoyed every minute of it. Well, most of it. Some trainings were kind of hard, but it felt good. You know, after making that pro debut, I got a lot of pressure off my back. I was so tense and excited and nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I had a small, I don't know what it was, a panic attack or anxiety attack right before, a couple hours before my fight. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm fighting, you know. But then, you know, the fight happened, and you know, I got the win, and from there I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. I enjoy this.
That's awesome. And how, like, out of all your opponents, do you have one that was like really tough, that was really hard for you?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a loss against, you know, Torres. As far as being the toughest opponent, I'd say he was the toughest opponent. But I've had other opponents that were all, like, they were challenging as well. But I'd say, you know, probably Torres would be the toughest opponent. Yeah.
Is there something that you tell yourself when you go into the ring each time at a fight? Like something that encourages you, or just kind of like gets you into that mode?
Get in the mode. I've been actually trying to kind of figure that out myself. You know, I've tried different kind of changing my mental state leading up to fights. You know, sometimes I try to be really amped up and really pumped. Other times I try to be like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. And other times I'm just like, hey, you know what? It's just a fight. You know, don't try to put any more pressure on yourself than you really have to, because you know that's when things change. But I don't know. I don't think I really say anything to myself. I think I just look at my coach, and then you know, we discuss the game plan, and it's like, okay, I think discussing the game plan leading into the fight gets me in the zone. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your team. You know, boxing and like MMA, you know, it's a little bit different than other sports where, you know, they have a whole team that they go into a game with, right? Yeah. But boxing, we don't play boxing, right? So tell me a little bit how your team supports you during a fight.
Yeah, so my head trainer, Jeff Lotry, he's my boxing coach. I have a cut man. We train here at Mayweather, so our cut man is Mondo, sometimes Rudy Hernandez, and that's pretty much the team, you know. And then I have my managers. They're not really involved too much in the training, but they're involved in, you know, getting me fights and, you know, putting me towards the right direction. You know, I was just trusting my coach, trusting you know, the people inside the inner circle. You know, I'm putting putting confidence, putting my trust in them that they'll, you know, I'll do my job and they do their job. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me about your last fight that was recently. So how did that feel? How did that go for you?
Oh yeah, my last fight was September 6th. I felt it was different. You know, the whole coronavirus going on, everything was different. There were certain like protocols you have to follow. You have to be in lockdown in your room for a couple days leading up to the fight. Which was different, but I actually enjoyed it. You know, there was no crowd as well, no spectators.
How did that feel?
You know what? I didn't really notice that much of a difference. I think it's because, you know, all the adrenaline and you're focused on the fight. You know, sometimes you just kind of block everything out. And then there's other times where you can hear the crowd. You know, but I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed having the crowd and also enjoyed not having the crowd because it kind of felt more like smaller, secluded. There was, I was able to focus a little bit more on the fight. But other than that, it was cool. You know, I got the win, and we just moved forward from there.
That's awesome. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about your family support. How do they feel about you going in the ring and you know, getting hurt or not?
Yeah. Well, my family, supports me a lot. I remember when I was amateur, getting older, I would tell my mom, like, I'm going to turn pro. And she was like, no, you're not. Because you hear it's a dangerous sport. You hear a lot of stories of boxers passing away. And it's really dangerous. And she was like, no, you're not gonna turn pro. But once I started winning tournaments, she was like, okay, you can do this. So my family's very supportive. My dad's always been supportive. My mom, my brother, my sister, everyone, really, they enjoy that, that I get to do. They're happy that I get to do what I love to do, so they show a lot of support, and yeah.
That's awesome. And do you have any academic goals as well, or is this like your?
Well, I was going to school. I was going to community college. For at first it was for like business administration. I've always been interested in business, and then I switched to nutrition. Well, it was between nutrition and kinesiology, but I do have a passion for nutrition and exercise science and stuff. So I'm boxing, I'm certified in precision nutrition. It's a nutrition coaching course, and I'm getting my NASM personal training certification as well. So I love learning. I really enjoy it. I like learning. I like reading. So I don't think this is my, I don't want boxing to be the only thing that kind of defines me.
Yeah.
So as I'm growing in my boxing career, I do want to be more. I want to learn more about nutrition and exercise and stuff like that. So by the time I'm done fighting, whenever that is, I already have also an established career outside of boxing. Related nutrition and exercise. It goes a long way. But yeah, that's what.
Cool. And what do you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy? My legacy, I want, at the end of the day, that I helped a lot of people. That's it.
That's awesome.
Whether it's through boxing, whether it's through outside of boxing, doesn't matter. I want them to be like, oh, that's George. He helped a lot of people. That's it.
Good. Is there anything that you would say to the young fighters that are up and coming, or they want to try out boxing, or are in amateurs right now?
Yeah, so if you're deciding to try boxing, give it a try. You never know until you try it. Let's say you give it a try, you don't like it, hey, at least you tried it. And let's say you give it a try and you really love it, continue on. If you're already an amateur, I would say don't get discouraged. There's going to be tough days. There's going to be hard training sessions. There's going to be days that aren't going to go your way. I mean, like I'm a pro. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I still have bad days. But you can't let that stop you. So look, if you have a bad day, think of it as the faster you make a mistake, the faster you can learn from it.
That's awesome. Any last words?
I mean, if you guys watched this whole interview, thank you guys for watching. Thank you everyone that follows me and supports me. Shout out to everyone watching at home. Saludos a todos los mochis. Gracias por su apoyo. Also, you can follow my YouTube channel.
Yes, of course. What is it?
My YouTube channel is Yuyu, and I just talk about boxing, nutrition, and exercise.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time and having us here.
Nice. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.